Hi friends, I would like to say about the humanity of Kerala, especially Malabar regions. Kerala is highly vulnerable to natural disasters and the changing climatic dynamics. Given its location along the sea coast and deep gradient along the slopes of the western Ghats, Kerala's State Disaster Management Plan assesses 39 type of known and reported hazard types in the state that may turn disastrous in the event of lack of proper preparedness and risk reduction planning. That is KSDMA 2016. The existing disaster management system in the state is largely response centric. The disaster management plans prepared at the state and district level provide a lot of information on hazards but are weak in vulnerability and capacity assessment. The plans are also weak on mitigation and do not provide strategies for mainstreaming disaster risk reduction, that is DRR, across key sectors. It is also important that the government of Kerala brings together all the stakeholders and enables the private sector, NGOs and Kerala diaspora to join the recovery efforts. Society's response to it was equally overwhelming, bringing out the strength of solidarity and the spirit of voluntarism, which needs to be creatively harnessed in the process of recovery and reconstruction. A re-examination of our development priorities, its ecological implications and social ramifications is the need of the hour. As the state embarks on the disaster recovery process, the role of central, state, and local governments in restoring services, reconstructing houses, supporting local economic recovery, and other public services will go a long way not only in restoring normalcy but also in rebuilding a resilient Kerala. The state is inching towards another monsoon amid the pandemic threat, and the authorities are on the toes preparing for floods and landslides as the normal disaster response will not be enough to survive the COVID-19 outbreak and a natural disaster at the same time. According to weather forecast, last year's monsoon would repeat in the state this year too, which indicates another delay. In 2019, the monsoon claimed around 125 lives and around 1,038 villages from 13 districts were affected by floods and landslides. Malappuram and Wayanad were the worst hit by the monsoon. It was the third consecutive day of rains in Kerala, and we were getting ready to turn in for another night of incessant downpour when the grim news started flashing on TV stations. Air India Express flight IX-1344 from Dubai to Calicut had a failed landing at the Calicut International Airport. and casualties were feared. My niece was on that flight. Over the next few minutes of the pictures started coming in over television and mobile phones. The Boeing 737-800 on a one-day Bharat mission had overshot the wet tabletop runway on its second attempt to land in heavy rain and stiff tailwind, and had tipped over and fallen 35 feet down a slope. The plane snapped into two and the nose was crushed. For many on that ill-fated aircraft, there were three slices of fortune: one on losing its landing traction. The experienced pilot swung the aircraft leeway and switched off the engines. Two, there was no ensuring fire. 3. The airport was in the vicinity of a bunch of villagers who have a history of selfless community work. The Calicut International Airport is nestled among low green hillocks in Karipu village on the Malappuram-Kozhikode border, more than 30 kilometers from the district headquarters. Within minutes of the accidents, even before relief teams could reach, the villagers rushed in. They jumped the gate and walls, rushed into the broken aircraft, which was still in danger of catching fire and exploding, and started pulling out those trapped inside. With airport authorities and support staff leading the way, the injured were rushed to faraway towns of Mancheri, Malappuram, and Kozhikode. Local young men with cars and vans swung in to supplement the modest institutional resources. Tracking decisions were taken on the spot, and the seriously injured were sent straight away in the direction of bigger hospitals. Afterward, even with precautions against the pandemic in place, people lined outside facilities for donating blood. Acumen for formally involving local communities in disaster management plans. In the same way, SOPs and processes mature over practice and time, local communities and panchayat bring some core capacities and capabilities during a time of need. Their knowledge of the local system, local ecosystem of healthcare and support facilities is significantly more relevant, and their ability to quickly mobilize and upscale evacuation and transportation of casualties is critical during the golden hour after a tragedy. Local assistance is key to search and rescue, reducing the time to secondary and tertiary medical attention. Southern Malabar region are used to acts of courage and selfless service by local communities at the time of disasters. During the Kadalundi train disaster in 2001 is also during the Peruman tragedy further south in 1988. Locals jumped into swollen waters to rescue passengers from rail bogies that had fallen off bridges. More recently, during the big floods of 2018, fishermen from the coast, acting on their own, turned their boats eastward and rowed up flooded waters to pluck people to safety from rooftops and other precarious perches. When it comes to leadership at the community or panchayat level in meeting life, challenges Kerala is in a league for its own. 18 people, including the two pilots, succumbed to their injuries in accident at the time of fighting. The remaining among the 190 passengers and crew, many among them, are recovering in various hospitals in the region. Many of them owe their lives to the unknown villagers who pulled them out from a mangled aircraft and took urgent life-saving decisions. Seasoned rescue workers would have been proud of them. Generally, people in the southern states of the country, such as Kerala, and also in Kerala, the South Malabar region is very humanity-oriented. Someone says the Malappuram is out of humanity.